So, good evening, everyone. Wow, I think Charlene said, finally, it's my turn. And finally, it's my turn. Oh God, it's a long night. Yes, she has much pressure as well. She has much pressure as well. But and Charlene just started her tea journey in April, and then attended our course in May. So she's very new, but she is a very quick learner. That's why she joined our defense. So because her computer couldn't work very well. That's why I'm going to present her presentation. Okay, it's your turn, please.
Wonderful. Good evening, dear hosts, teachers, and classmates. Thank you for sharing space with me. My name is Charlene Bell. I'm from the United States of America, currently teaching English in Shenyang, China. I am here to talk with you about the importance of understanding tea processing for quality and enjoyment. Tea, the second most consumed beverage in the world after water, and it holds a special place in many cultures, particularly in China. China has, no, sorry, not yet. Excuse me, everyone. Tea is the second most consumed beverage in the world after water, and it holds a special place in many cultures, particularly in China. China has a rich history of tea cultivation and consumption, deeply embedded in the culture and traditions. Today, we will explore a fascinating journey from leaf to cup and highlighting major tea processing and producing countries and meticulous processing to ensure the finest and the quality in every sip. Let's dive right in. Tea, sorry guys, I'm a little nervous. Tea, we understand that tea is a popular natural beverage consumed second to water in the world. Let's look at some of the major producing countries. First, here we have China, we have India, Kenya, Sri Lanka, and many other countries in the world. What exactly is tea? Tea comes from the Camellia sinensis, which is an evergreen shrub or a small tree that grows in China and many other parts of the world. The buds or the fresh tender shoots are harvested every spring and processed to make 6 different teas. When I talk about processing, I am not speaking of any type of additives. I am talking strictly about just the unique process methods that are associated with each particular tea. Here we have 6 types of tea. We have green tea, white tea, yellow tea, oolong tea, and dark tea. Different processing methods create the unique flavor and aroma profile for each tea. Now let's remember, the processing can impact or destroy the beauty of how you actually enjoy this tea or any tea that you drink. So when we look here, these are actually the processing steps. Now, when we look at the processing steps, for green tea, we have plucking, spreading for cooling, fixation, also called killing green, rolling, shaping, and drying. For white tea, we have plucking, withering, drying. Now, these steps look like there are just a few, but let's keep in mind when we get to the key processing why this is so important. There are several drying steps that would be repeated throughout the time for white tea. We have yellow tea, which is plucking, fixation, rolling, yellowing, and drying. Oolong tea is plucking. Oh, no hand. I love you. Plucking, oolong tea, plucking, withering, bruising, fixation, rolling, and drying. For black tea, we have plucking, withering, rolling, oxidation, and drying. And for dark tea, we have plucking, fixation, rolling, paling, and drying. Now, if it depends on if we're doing raw tea or we have an extra step for refining process called fungating to grow golden flowers. In our next slide, you will see a beautiful visual of this process for black tea. It's the dark, for the dark tea, it's a fungating, which is called golden flower, which also contribute to flavor. Our next slide will give you just a visual of the tea processing. In my top left, you'll see the yellowing wrapping in a special paper or a cloth. The bottom left, it's paling and moistening, which can also be like wet thermalization. The smaller circle, you'll see rolling, which is breaking down the cell walls. The small right picture up above that is actually the first stage, is plucking and harvesting those fresh leaves. And then the upper right, you'll see pan frying is to stop the enzymic process and lock in the color and the flavor. And last, in the lower, you'll see the shaking and the bruising. And this is on a beautiful bamboo mat. Now, it brings us to these key important processing methods and why they're so important. For your green tea, fixation is the purpose of this oxidation is to stop and fixate the green leaves into their actual fresh state over high heat, inactivating the enzymes in the leaf so that we will no longer interact with the air. It also preserves the green color and the flavor attributes. The next one is white tea. We have the withering. Now, the white tea may look like it's the least processed steps. However, the withering process can last up to 3 days, more depending on the tea catechins and how they decide to act. Since it's still alive, since tea leaves are still alive, the enzymic process is impacted to create the unique taste and aroma during the withering process. And then we have like the yellowing process. That's the rolling, after the rolling of the tea leaves, we pile them, heaping, moistening them over some heat and packing in special paper, or piling and covering them with a cloth. And we leave them there so that it can develop that yellowing process in a controlled environment. And this process can last anywhere from 10 minutes up to several days to get the desired flavor. This is also a complicated process that not many people around the world can mimic. So you may not be able to get your hands on yellow tea. But if you do, treasure it. It's pretty priceless. Next, we have oolong tea, which is the bruising process. Now, in bruising encompasses the physical movement and resting and activate the wound stress in the tea leaves. Bruising can last anywhere from 2 minutes, and then the resting can last about an hour, causing the leaves to partially oxidize as a portion of the enzymes from the leaves are exposed to the air, which gives you that beautiful red edge, which contribute to the flavor. Black tea, we have oxidizing. Now we see some pretty cool words here like polyphenols and theoflavins and theorubidians. Now those beautiful words are just kind of contribute to the flavor profile and the changing chemical reaction in the actual tea leaves that gives you the color of the tea soup, the aroma, and locking in the flavor. Next, for dark tea, piling and wet thermalization and fermentation and all of this is like a chemical reaction. But the piling phase is where it's done in a controlled environment where it's moistened and it's wet thermalization under high humidity and temperatures. And the fermentation by microbes are which contributes to like the flavor development, and oxidizing the enzyme is naturally causes the tea oxidation to alter the tea color. So in conclusion, having an understanding of how tea is processed can possibly allow you to enjoy and connect a little bit deeper with nature as well as your cup of tea. When you enjoy your green tea, white tea, oolong tea, black tea, dark tea, it is important to note that without these processes or these steps or the key methods, tea would resemble just some fresh raw leaves and lack the complex flavor, aroma, and the unique color that many people enjoy so much in tea. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Charlene. Because Charlene is from America, so English is her native mother language. That's why she doesn't worry about her English. So she speaks it very fast. While she is very new to the tea world, especially today, she picked one tough and very wide topic. In the university, actually, we spent 4 years or 7 years studying about the tea processing. And this is very abstract. While she succeeded composing them together in a few minutes. Wonderful job, Charlene.